Be Mine, Chapter 10. That evening, as Victor was warmly welcomed in Krakow by his family, the table of the Nezhensky family was dominated by the Count, who spoke in his usual malicious tone. "Everything in life has ended, and so do painting lessons. We are grateful that Mr. Brozlovsky and the painting lessons have apparently given a new stream of life to our dear Anna, who has become the most beautiful young lady in Warsaw. It is time now to display yourself, my dear, in society afresh. Is your costume ready for the masquerade ball this Christmas?" Mamma tried to divert the conversation away from the ball. "What are you talking about? I did not know the painting lessons had ended. Mr. Brozlovsky mentioned he was going home for the holidays, but he assured us he would be returning the middle of January to continue them." "No, Countess, a letter was given me today stating that he has many things to do in life and he is not coming back to Warsaw any more. That is very understandable at his age with his charm. He must be missing a full life of excitement, and I expect he will not be a bachelor for long, but will be married soon. No, he is most definitely not coming back to us." Upon hearing this final emphatic statement, the young Countess became pale as snow and fainted. Her mother cried, Doctor, someone send for the doctor immediately. Help Anna." Then, barely keeping herself upright, she went to the side table for the jar of smelling salts and placed it under Anna's nose, which brought her back just for a moment of uncontrollable wailing before she fainted again. The servants carefully carried Anna to her bedroom to await the doctor's prompt arrival, and during this time she aroused and fainted once more. The doctor listened to her heart and lungs and examined her pulse and throat and eyes before stating his conclusion. "She is exhausted. I just see tiredness here. Her energy has been severely drained. Have her remain in bed for a few days of recuperation, and I will return to check on her progress then." Anna did not become better in a few days or a few weeks. The holiday season passed, with the sound of the Count stomping through the castle each day as a bull, crashing and thrashing about to change the direction of life, but it did no good. Anna remained in bed, growing weaker. The season of balls passed, and his dream of would-be suitors faded in the mist. The raging Count grated violently against the delicate Countess, who withdrew and faded like her daughter Anna did, so that before long she also needed a bedside attendant. By mid-January, Anna's condition was so severe that she was not able to rise from bed. The Count demanded that all remedies be inflicted to force Anna's health to return, but nothing seemed to work, and the diagnosis agreed on by various doctors was that she suffered from severe melancholy, the most dangerous form. Some of them said that Anna would not survive until spring. The Countess recalled the piercing conversation on the night the malady first struck. She gathered her courage and decided to write a letter to Victor and tell him about Anna's desperate situation. The letter was sent by messenger, who was commanded to wait until a reply was made and bring it directly. The Brozlovsky family rejoiced to have their son Victor at home once again for Christmas. The festivities were well attended, and Victor was pleased to talk about his time in Warsaw as a past event, but closed off at all about mentioning the young Countess. She was a divine beauty, a rare diamond in the night sky on a trajectory away from him by the benevolent Count. Yes, no doubt, following the ball, she would be plucked by the richest eligible landowner, perhaps a recent widower or decorated military commander. Victor forced himself not only to recall Anna's friendship and how grateful he was to her for opening his eyes to God and the presence of God in the spiritual beauty of the church. He expected that over time his feelings for her would gradually disappear and that his family and friends would help him forget his intense experiences at the Nezhensky estate. However, the more he tried to forget, the more Anna came to his dreams over those weeks. His parents were very confused by the sudden change in his likes and dislikes. He had lost all interest in hunting. He shunned most social events. He refused to call on any young women. He became a mysterious figure, rather out of reach and out of circulation, which heightened his allurement to the females. But he declined all of their invitations from his precious prior acquaintances. He was seeking something deeper and much more spiritual in his life now. Even though he had moved away from Anna, he felt closer to her as he drew closer to God. She had helped him know the Creator of the universe, and he continued in his new religious practices in Krakow. Victor started to attend the nearest Orthodox church every Sunday. He received the Eucharist, went to confession, and listened to the ritual singing. He felt satisfied and blessed. Francois and Mary awakened their faith in God as they beheld the steadfast spirit now living in their son. Victor's papa baptized him in the Orthodox Church. At home, he read the book of Psalms, just as Anna had advised him. He chose to walk to and from the Orthodox Church, even though it was 2 hours one way. The distance was far because around Krakow there were only Catholic churches. His parents often asked him why he chose to walk to church rather than to ride in the carriage with them. It was difficult for him to answer, and he did not want to make up something, but to tell the truth, he could not put his feelings of penance and humility into words. To and from church, he reflected on God and was reminded of his walks many days with Anna. Victor's inner life was swirling and growing in ways formerly unknown to him. When the Countess's courier arrived with the letter, it was late at night. The butler brought the letter directly to Victor's room. Victor felt a crushing weight on his chest and gasped for air as he read of Anna's dire situation. One thing was crystal clear. He needed to return immediately to Anna in Warsaw. He was ready that moment to run the full distance to the estate, to sit near his Anna's bed, just to somehow help her. But he abruptly halted as he pictured the door being barred by the Count's bombastic voice. "You are not a relative, nor a doctor, nor a courier worthy of my daughter, but a mere art instructor. Away with you," Victor thought in his imagination. The harsh reality of class distinction flashed through his mind. I am an art instructor, and she is a young countess. So what would I have to do to gain entrance to visit her bedside? How can I go to her aid? What should I do? Lord, Lord, he asked himself again and again. Just then there was a knock at the door, and Francois entered the bedroom. Victor threw himself into his father's arms, releasing the letter to him, and he sobbed, "Papa, dear Papa, what shall I do?" Francois read the letter and surmised Victor's dilemma and quickly answered, "The morning is wiser than the evening, my son. Go to bed now. Your direction from God will be clear in the morning." Francois went to the den where the portraits of he and Mary hung that his son had painted. He sat at the desk and reread that letter, and then with haste he wrote a brief reply to the Count on behalf of his son. Most honorable Count Zahinsky, the time of my vacation with my parents has gone by so very fast. I did not pay close attention, and here we are on the threshold of spring. I understand that the young Countess' art lessons are concluded, but I did not do my final task. I did not complete her portrait, and I feel obligated to you. Therefore, if you will allow me, I will return to your state in 1 week. With great respect, Viktor Broslovsky. Francois gave the letter to the courier and sent him off in the night with a sigh of relief. Then he decisively returned to Victor's bedroom and told him about the letter. Victor thanked his father for relieving the great weight upon his shoulders. He spent a restless time praying for Anna's safety while he awaited a reply. After 3 days, the messenger came with a letter from the Count. Dear Mr. Broslovsky, you can come if you have such a desire, but Anna is very ill, and I doubt you will want to paint a dying person once you see her. Victor had never read a more brutal letter in his life. He wanted only one thing, to return to his bright star, his shining, holy Anna. But Victor was trying to keep himself together to follow the plan. He must wait 1 more day because his haste might be misunderstood. So Victor entered his parents' parlor with the Count's venomous reply, to pray for Anna together with them, and to be embraced and consoled by their love. Mary also prayed for her son's safety on the journey and for wisdom to face this unknown situation. Francois genuflected to bless his son and assured Victor that they would be rising early in the morning to say a final goodbye to him. The night was very difficult, as Victor wondered what Anna must be going through and questioned how it could be God's will that she die so early in life. Near dawn, he fell into a light sleep and dreamed he was walking a familiar path, holding a little girl by the hand. This path was in the Zahinsky's garden, and he was filled with foreboding and danger. He picked up the girl to run from the impending evil, and in that moment he recognized it was Anna. She clung to him tightly as he dashed through the dense path. Yes, some enraged person was now chasing after them, gaining closer. The faster they ran, the faster the beast pursuer came. Victor did not turn to see who was hunting them, but he could hear loud, roaring threats. Finally, the path brought them to the church, but Victor was afraid if they entered the church, they would be alone and easily trapped by the menace chasing them. So he chose to follow the road, and he continued running with all his might. If only he had enough strength to reach the monastery, they would find safety within the walls and be surrounded by God's servants. He had never run so fast in his life. He called, "Savior, Lord," as the hunter ravaged closer. Just as Victor and Anna reached the gates, an icy hand grabbed him by the nape of his neck. With all his might, Victor pulled away long enough to open the gate, and he tossed Anna to safety. The gates closed, and he stood firmly to face his enemy. The dream ended. Victor bolted upright in bed, drenched with cold sweat and panting. He tried to shake free from the terror of his dream. Inside, he was burning with intense emotion, consumed by feelings to protect Anna. How is she this very moment, he wondered. Will he see her alive when he arrives? Quickly he dressed and said goodbye to his parents. Victor sat in the troika, feeling drained and exhausted. In despair and shame, he chided himself for leaving Anna so completely isolated. How could he have so utterly abandoned her to the clutches of her father, whom she so dreadfully feared? He closed his eyes and started praying. Holy Virgin Mary, Holy Mother of God, most holy saints, save me, a sinful man. Have mercy upon your servant Anna, because she's holy. He prayed this again and again, and soon from the swaying compartment and the clamor of the wheels, Victor found the sleep he so desperately needed to restore his strength for the battle ahead.